third milestone in our school readiness, the 6 milestones your child should achieve, is auditory analysis and synthesis. Our educational psychologist, Annelle Annandale, is joining me in studio to chat about this milestone. Annelle, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Well, first off, what is this?
Auditory analysis and synthesis is how the brain perceives what it hears. So not necessarily anything to do with the ears, but in analyzing and synthesizing the actual sounds within a word. So most children by the age of about 5 will be able to analyze the sounds in a word. Sorry, the other way around, synthesize the sounds. So if I say dog makes, they should be able to say dog. Much more difficult to do it the other way around. So it's completely normal for your 5 to 6-year-old to still battle a little bit with the actual analysis of the sounds, but they should be able to hear the first sound at least to be able to start learning to read and write and spell.
All right, and do children mostly develop this around the same time?
They usually do. There is quite a bit of variance. Like I said, if your child is not able to synthesize the sounds yet by the time they're 6, I wouldn't be too worried. Maybe just something to encourage, to play around with a little bit at home so they get exposed to that.
And if they do start lagging behind, what are some things that parents can do?
Some of the things you might want to do then is take them for an evaluation with a speech therapist. A lot of speech therapists now actually qualify as audiologists as well.
Okay.
So they'll be able to recommend some exercises as well as check the actual, the hearing, how the child's perceiving what he's hearing, and give you recommendations from there.
Now, if children are struggling with this, could this indicate a bigger problem?
It could. It could be a sign that there's actually what we call an auditory processing difficulty. And auditory processing difficulty can have an impact on spelling, learning to read, learning to be able to express themselves properly, sometimes even hearing words properly. So it is something that we just want to keep an eye on.
All right, and now are there any activities that parents can do at home to help children grasp this
Absolutely.
milestone?
So playing games around that, something like I Spy, for instance. You can say, I hear something or I see something that starts with a P. Just so they get used to listening out for sounds and learning those sounds in the environment.
Now, do minor or chronic illnesses affecting the ears mean that children are at risk of not developing a pace?
Absolutely, it could. So what we find quite often is if there's a middle ear infection, it will impact on how the child hears specific words. When they're little, they often mispronounce a word and we take it as normal. But if that carries on, if they say kurink instead of cool drink, for instance, and you know that you've actually told them the word properly a few times, you might want to just have that checked out, and it might mean that they need something like grommets, and often the grommets just sorts that out.
Great, Annelle, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.